Hello and welcome to beautiful St. Moritz, high in the Engadin Valley. We're at nearly 2,000 meters above sea level in the Swiss Alps as we get ready for the start of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup at this most historic, this most prestigious of all bobsleigh tracks. It's the only natural track still in existence on the planet, built afresh every year, and it has subtle nuances and history at every corner. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Joining me in the booth is the Canadian athlete Emily Badsvik. And Emily, there's just something very special about this St. Moritz track, but
there is.
What's it like to ride down this track?
Well, it's basically one of the most enjoyable tracks to go down. I'd say it's like feeling like you're on a magic carpet ride. Like it's what bobsled should feel like. And when you hit a wall, you don't want to, cry and have a small tear inside. So it's very forgiving, but it's also challenging. And the scenery obviously helps make the track very enjoyable.
Well, one of the things that you feel on this track that you don't feel on any other track is the silence. Because it's built into the mountain, it doesn't rumble in the way that the concrete ice canals that everybody else uses, the artificial tracks, do. And so you feel more than you hear, really, here.
You do, and it is quite silent, and so it's eerie how when you're in the track and you hear nothing, and it feels like you're almost as one with the track. I think also the interesting thing is that the corners all have names as opposed to numbers. So for us brakemen, when we're trying to communicate with the pilots about where they might have messed up, sometimes we get a few corners wrong, but we make little scenarios in our mind how to remember all the corners. You fall from the tree onto the bridge. And so on.
All right, that works well. I just have to remember them as a sequence. If I go Shamrock, Telephone, Devil's Diner, and on and on.
No, we say you're calling an Irishman, and then you sell your soul to the devil, and that's why you're nameless.
All right, very good. Okay, so every year the track is built afresh. Every year, then, all the records are started again. Currently, the record being held by the Swiss girl Fabienne Meyer, who set it in the Swiss Championships. Our World Cup leader, though, is Alana Myers from the USA, who is having an absolutely stand-out season. Last week, though, victory went to the girl that will go first off the hill today, Sandra Kyriasis. An emotional final ever race for her in Winterberg in Germany, where she took an unexpected gold medal, or perhaps not so much of a surprise. Sandra, always a competitor. -2 air temperature, -3 ice temperature. No artificial refrigeration here.
No.
So it's the temperature overnight that really holds this track together. And that means that if it gets too sunny, we're in all sorts of trouble with the heat.
Although the sun does help with our speeds at the start times.
It does, definitely. So the track nature changes as the day goes on. We've got 18 sleds in the field. So the first thing, of course, Emily, is that there's going to be no pressure to make the second cut. If you finish the first run, you will automatically get a second heat. So for the likes of Australia and Romania at the tail of the field, that's got to be a great boost in their confidence.
Well, and hopefully that the sun coming up will give them some added speed to give them a competitive edge.
So the first sled on track today is Sandra Kyriasis. For the last decade, she has been the benchmark in women's bobsleigh. She's won 8 World Cup titles. She's won numerous World Cup races, multiple World Championships, and an Olympic champion as well. There's almost nothing that Sandra has not done in this
Exactly,
sport.
and although Sandra drew #1, you don't normally always want to draw #1 here in St. Moritz because of the temperatures and with the sun. But what's interesting is Sandra's been sliding for almost as my age. She has over 43 World Cup medals, so that's pretty impressive. She works harder than most women I know.
Yeah, she really does. And this is her final tour, her final year as a bobsled racer. And spoke to Noelle Pikus-Pace yesterday about that, saying goodbye to the tracks. And she said, this is going to be the hard one to let go of. For Sandra, Winterberg, her home track, but also St. Moritz.
Right, and this track will favor her driving because she is such a consistent pilot and she just understands this track inside and out. Although it changes slightly every year, she definitely knows the plan.
5.70, the start record 5.65. We might see threatened as well by some of our quicker starters. We'll look at the likes of Alana Myers perhaps for that.
Yeah,
Kyriasis is looking here to just consolidate her form, as everybody is going towards Sochi in February.
She is, and she'll have a very competitive edge in Sochi with her driving style and her age and her experience. She's someone that you can count on. You know that what you're going to get with Sandra.
She's got Franziska Bertels behind her today, so changing brake women every week, and that's part of keeping them competitive, but also keeping them rested.
104.9, that's not a bad speed.
Well, that's the quickest speed we've seen so far this week. The skeleton athlete's getting to about 100, 101 there.
Oh, she just had a tap.
37.5.
37.5 yes.
Again, these are the highest speeds that we see all season long.
Track record, wow.
Yeah, that's a good run from Sandra. 108.64. Again, because the track is different every year, the records get set every year, and it's normally when the World Cup arrives that they start getting really blitzed. So,
well, she's just set the benchmark, so we'll have to hope that everyone else can continue to aim high.
Well, last week in Winterberg, third, but let's take a look at this. Nice, quiet exit, tiny little tap as she comes out of Gunter Sachs, and oh, the reaction from Christoph Langen. He knows that's going to have ebbed away a tenth of a second or so.
Yeah, that tap out of there definitely is going to kill her speed and affect her downtime.
So she was third in the first heat last week, went on to win it. Next up, Caroline Spani of Switzerland. She's got Ariane Walser behind her.
She's a powerful pilot. She definitely is their version of Kaylee or Alana. She definitely has a great start. She's been quite successful in this first half as well, having a number of top 10 finishes.
31-year-old. She was a former brake woman. She braked Sabina Hafner for a couple of seasons. Swiss-built Citius sleds, very distinctive aerodynamic profile.
561, wow, 900s ahead of Sandra Kyriasis.
She didn't set the fastest start in the Swiss Championships. That went to Fabienne Meyer, her teammate, but she's upped the game again.
Let's hope that her experience as being a Swiss pilot, that this can help her, give her an edge over the other pilots.
Switzerland for decades, one of the major forces in winter sliding, but the weight of the German presence, the Russians, the Americans and Canadians has sort of eased them out of the spotlight a little. Still with the lead, heading down towards Horseshoe. Nice high line, and she just gets the exit nailed.
No, slower speeds than Kyriasis for sure.
She's a little slow on speed. The gap's gone from 1100s up to 600s behind, but this is going to be a competitive run.
This will be, and let's see how she finishes these last couple of corners.
She can keep it straight down here between the walls.
Speed of 136.6 kilometers an hour.
1 kilometer down on Kyriasis, second place run for her, quarter of a second back. That should well leave her in the top 10.
I'd say that the kilometer down is probably worth about 10, 1500s for sure.
So 2700s back, that could well be a top 10 run for Caroline Spani. Not too many major errors, but of course she'll be getting out thinking, about the two that really stick in her mind.
Oh, there's kind of a wave up there.
Just threatening the woodwork rather than actually tapping it as she gets the height. And that's crucial, isn't it? Because you want to dive off there and carry as much, you know, altitude and then drop down as hard as you can.
Yeah, Horseshoe's all about getting that slingshot effect, really carrying your speed throughout the rest of the track. It's kind of like the pivotal point where it just gives you that extra edge going down. So let's hope that she can keep her next run as consistent and as well have a successful start. But this is only going to go down now that the Americans are starting. Here we go. We've got powerhouse Alana Myers.
She's got Asia Evans behind her again, and this is turning into the real powerhouse team for the USA.
Well, with their NFL connection with Alana's dad and Asia's brother, they definitely have the gift of pushing things.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see what the start is. 5:61 is the record.
5:52, yeah. Wow. Well, they just set a standard that everyone else is going to be chasing. Let's hope that Alana can keep this speed and drive consistently. Oh, a skid.
Well, she's not steering at all. She's just taking the hits. Of course, like a ski, when the runners go sideways...
Yeah, it definitely affects your downtime.
Yeah, it has a braking effect. Your enemy in this sport is drag. Here, this is falling with style. Anytime you get sideways, anytime you drag yourself down the wall, speed just falls off the sled.
Well, the top of this track is so crucial, so let's see her speeds as she comes out of horseshoe.
Great high line. She still has the confidence to drive it down.
3.3.
Well, that's 1.5 kilometers off Sandra Kirias's pace.
Yeah, definitely related to the mistakes that she had at the top. So let's hope that she can... Oh, that was a slam down off of that corner.
Well, the BMW sleds are new to the girls this year. They didn't drive them last year. They're in the older style sleds, the Bodines that they've been racing for several years.
Yeah, these sleds have definitely, they've pushed the edge on bobsled creation. Talking with some of the mechanics, they said that's roughly about $1 million worth of research and design into each of these sleds. So yeah, it's a budget that only the US can handle for sure.
Very distinctive look to the bodywork as well, that really sharp fold up the body to direct the air around the athletes, but they feel very different to drive apparently.
Yeah, so she's definitely going to have to work on this for the next round. She knows what she has to do. With a start like that, hopefully that she can bump up a couple places, but this is not going to do well.
Well, she
was definitely high.
Yeah, great height through horseshoe, just a little bit of a brush of the ice at the top there.
She does not look happy.
No, too many mistakes, and they all come back to bite.
So here we have Olga
Sturneeva with
4x100 meters silver medalist in Athens.
Yeah.
With Lucy. Lucy's a brakeman who last year was cut from the program and told that she had to come back and be stronger. Oh, 5:56, that's awesome. So she definitely came back with a fiery vengeance.
Yeah. Sturneeva still doesn't have the physique of a big bobsled athlete. She still looks like a sprinter. And the lighter the crew is, Emily, the heavier the sled they have to push. So that stunts some of their speed.
Yeah, this is a great top so far. Let's hope that she can stay consistent throughout the rest of the track.
1800ths of a second is the lead over Sandra Kiriasis. Now, if the Russians can produce a big result here, think of the confidence. We're within a month of the opening ceremony.
That's a good speed.
That's really good speed. Gap comes down, under 1/10 ahead, but she's very competitive.
Yeah,
here.
the one thing about Olga is she listens really well, and with Pierre Luders as her driving coach, she's got a lot of expertise. Oh, there's a tap.
Little tap. 400s in the lead, 137.1. This could be down to the 100th of a second. Will the Russian lead?
Woo!
Oh, my word! Now that is the drive of her career so far. That is an absolutely standout
It's rare that you see the
effort.
Russian smile, so this is the best heat of her life.
We need a photo of that.
Oh, we are happy.
I think Pierre Luders cracked a smile.
I don't think I've ever seen Pierre smile.
I have. He won the World Championship and made his coach jump into the lake in Koenigsegg. He smiled
good job,
that morning.
Olga and Lucy. Oh,
yeah.
You can tell they're definitely pleased.
Sturneeva, what a run.
Yeah, good for her. She's had a rough season so far, and consistency. Her runner tips are pointed perfectly, and the speed is only 400ths off of Kiriasis.
That's a great. Anytime you're close to somebody like Sandra Kiriasis, you know you've had a good run.
Especially with Kiriasis' expertise, the fact that Olga can compete with her. This is giving her confidence going into Sochi for sure.
Those girls could end up in the medals here very easily. So could these girls.
Okay,
Jamie Grubel.
We call her the Blonde Dragon.
Yeah, Emily Azevedo behind her. And those smiley headshots exactly reflect the nature of this team.
Oh, she's a vicious beast. Don't let that blonde hair deter you.
I see. She's already sucked us into her trap.
Last year, these girls pushed in the World Championships. Let's hope that their time is faster. The track is slightly faster at the start this year. 5:60, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Let's see how her runners...
Well, the US girls have had such a good start to the season. The North American Trail, they even swept the podium. 1, 2, 3 results.
They did.
And they are always contenders.
The US is so lucky to have such a depth to their program. They have 6 awesome brakemen who are all very comparable.
0.12 of a second in front. Alana Myers was good until she sat in the sled. Jamie Grubel has managed to carry that starting speed.
Let's see her horseshoe with her speed, at least 104 hopefully.
Great exit.
105.3, that's the best speed so far.
Yeah, comfortably.
Do you think it's something to do with the sun or perhaps her driving?
Well, it's perhaps a little bit of both. As you said at the beginning, the early start draw may not have favoured Sandra Kyriasis. But Jamie Grubel, don't forget, led last week in Winterberg, Germany as well.
Hopefully that doesn't affect her. 137.4.
Great speed. She's going to take the lead here.
Yeah, hopefully she'll be the leader with this speed. And here we go, new leader. 108.46.
46. Fantastic. We had a tie for the lead. And now we have a brand new leader, Jamie Grubel. What sort of a season is this girl having? Everybody said, oh yeah, North America, of course the Americans are going to be better. She comes, leads Heat 1 in Winterberg. She's leading here in St. Moritz as well.
Jamie Grubel is the trifecta. She's got the great sled. She's definitely has a good pilot and good feeling, and she had a great start. So she's got a combination of all three.
And that's what you need, everything.
Yes. Let's talk about her entrance into horseshoe. A little high, but it's definitely going to sling her out as she drives out her line. She definitely had the best speed so far going into Shamrock and Telephone.
Yeah.
Oh, she's happy.
Yes, she is.
Hopefully her fiance is watching.
Jamie Grubel, our race leader, from Sandra Kyriasis and Olga Stulneva, tied in second. Well, next up is the second of our German sleds, and again, we might look for a new start record from Anja Schneider-Heinze. No, 5:57.
She's definitely one of the most powerful pilots for the German team. She was the brakeman in Vancouver.
Yeah, she won the Olympic gold medal behind Sandra Kyriasis in 2006 as a brakewoman, and she goes in what will probably be her last Olympics as Germany's #2 driver at the moment. Little skid there coming out of Snake and into Sunny. That'll cost her a fraction. She might be behind by horseshoe.
Oh,
and another one.
Skid. Oh, let's look at her runners as she comes out of horseshoe.
Well, she's looking for the exit there. She takes a medium line in horseshoe, but she is behind. 103.9 is
definitely doesn't have the same speed as Jamie.
Long way shy on pace. She finished on the podium in Winterberg last weekend. Schneider with Stephanie Schneider behind her. Good starting combination. 136.5 again. Kilometre an hour away there, Emily.
Yeah, definitely that mistake out of Nash Dixon affected her speed.
No Jarvols from Christoph Langen on that one. She's in 4th place.
4th place. That definitely gives her an advantage point. She can move up or move down, but it's not a terrible spot right now.
Yeah. 1/3 of a second away from the leaders. We may well see a few more sleds between her and the top of the pile.
Well, and Stephanie won their brakeman competition over Christmas, so she's the best brakeman they have so far for the German program. Oh, yes, you can see here she doesn't make it onto the corner properly. Kind of skids her way around.
Nash and Dixon, always tricky, because if you get one wrong, then you're still trying to recover when you get to horseshoe.
And Christoph with his lovely reactions. He's always hilarious to watch. It's like a commercial for something. You're not quite sure what he's selling.
Next up, Kaylee Humphries and Heather Moyse, the reigning Olympic champion.
Yes, Canada's most eligible bachelorettes.
Yeah. Graham Richardson, the coach, watching. And Heather Moyse, what a story again, you know, returning after a number of injuries to bobsledding and just so hard and fast off the blocks.
Let's see if they have another start record. Heather, she's such a powerhouse. Her height and her stride length, she has an advantage. 5:46, wow, that's the fastest so far. So their start with Kaylee's driving abilities, let's see if they can keep them in the lead. It's all going to be about the speed here.
Kaylee knows what to do. She struggled a little to find the form in Winterberg last weekend, but this is a track where she knows where she's about.
Well, she's had a little bit of an issue in training this week, but I feel like Kaylee's a consistent driver. Now, let's see if she's straight coming out of Nash and Dixon and uses horseshoe to her advantage.
1400s up at the start, 3400s up out of Sunny, still 3400s out of horseshoe.
101.6, definitely doesn't have the speed here.
No, she's a long way shy. Fastest is 105.
100th behind.
Now she's going to drop a long way back by the bottom of the track. She's keeping the sled straight, but has she gone for too soft a setup?
That's good. 2200s behind. Yeah, definitely didn't have the speed coming out of Horseshoe like the others.
She was comfortably in lead at Horseshoe. She was 3400s up. She's now 3500s back. She lost 7/10 of a second between Horseshoe and the bottom of the track.
She would have been the leader if she hadn't hit the lip, but we know that she has a consistent start, so hopefully next one they can go even faster.
Hundreds behind Anja Schneider-Heinze, 4th and 5th. Throw that one away.
She doesn't look happy.
No.
Ooh. Oh, dear God.
Double tap, and very early. You should be apexing right under that yellow sign, so the bottom of the sled is dropping down through Horseshoe. That was a big save.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's one thing about Kaylee. She can save anything. Oh. And her runner's not even on the ice in that point.
Wow. That's a very bad line into Horseshoe, and she paid the price all the way down the track.
Well, when you're reigning world Olympic champion, you demand greatness, so hopefully next one can be a bit better. So here we have Elfie Williamson. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday to you. They had their best finish last week with the top 6.
Top 6 after a top 7 the week before, or the race before in Lake Placid, which was their standout race of the season up until that stage. And the fastest speed out of this sled.
She does. She doesn't always have the best start time, but she definitely carries the best speed down the track. I don't know if that's equipment or her runners.
I asked her last week, I said, come on, I know you're called the Belgian Bullies, but what about this sled? She said, yeah, we have a magic sled. You absolutely do have a magic sled.
So let's see if she's perfect all the way to Horseshoe to give her what she needs to give her an advantage.
5.80, giving away nearly 4/10 of a second at the start to the fastest starters, Kaylee Humphries and Heather Moyse. But can she finish in front of the Canadian?
She's a 10th off Kariasis and almost 3/10 off of Kaylee. Let's see if she can be perfect up here at the top.
Good to Sunny. She's 3/10 back. And there's a lot of Belgian fans. Belgium, like the Netherlands, only a couple of hours away.
Looks like a good Horseshoe so far. Let's see the speed.
Great exit. Fastest sled.
Best speed so far. We're definitely going to have to start looking at their equipment.
Well, listen, these BTC Latvia sleds have always been quick.
They have.
And again, look at the determination. She's really got a good line. 1:38, fastest sled by 1 kilometre an hour. Where is she going to finish up? Is she in 3rd? She's second place.
Only behind by 1700ths. Oh my God, that's an amazing finish
for
her.
My word!
What a good birthday present.
What a run from Elfie Willemsen. She ought to have a birthday more often. Look at that.
Well, this track definitely complements if you are if you have a good consistent drive and you don't screw up at the top.
Yeah.
You're going to be fast at the bottom.
She was clean, same in Winterberg, and she carried the speed.
Yeah, look at these lines in Horseshoe. She doesn't hit the roof. And the brakeman is perfectly tucked in.
Yeah. Anna Marion, former Olympic athlete as well, but Elfie Willemsen,
105.9, wow.
That's insanely fast.
That's 6/10 ahead of Jamie Grubel.
Yeah. That's...
Maybe the secret is a BMW sled mixed with theirs.
Well, let's see what the next BMW sled can produce.
Here we go, Jasmine Fenelator. She's the unofficial team hair braider for Canada.
And for the USA, I guess she's the official one for the USA. Katie Eberling behind her. A little bit of an uncomfortable load. Katie didn't get her arms.
5:63. I think they ran maybe a touch too far.
It's always tempting to run a long way here.
She could definitely be a contender if she has a perfect run here.
Good first corner momentum as well. Let's see where we go with this one. Just a few hundreds away at the start. Oh, huge skid.
Oh, that skid is going to cost her.
Well, the BMW steering is very different from what the women were used to, and maybe here where that tiny touch is so vital, it's just overreacting.
Oh, and there's another slight skid. You see, Jamie and Alana and Jasmine all started at roughly the same time in driving, so it's interesting to see how they've all evolved from their driving styles.
It's kind of like the whole team has grown up together, isn't it?
Now she has the worst speed so far. Oh, another skid.
Only Kaylee Humphries was slower at that stage.
Well, that's not a good
thing. That's saying something, isn't it? Yeah. Half a second back. And from what I understand from the drivers, the BMW is very reactive on the steering, and that just means that when you get a tiny little counter steer...
So no speed coming out of the finish corner, which leaves her in 9th place. Coaches aren't going to be happy with that finish.
She won't be happy either with that.
No. The one thing you can count on Jasmine is she always pulls it together if she has a rough run. So the second one, she's always better.
Joycey Goyles are built tough. That's what she always says. You got to come back.
And we have Katie. We're supposed to call her the babyface assassin.
Oh, yeah? That's a horrible slide there.
That is not good. When the sled dances like that, it's not good. It needs to go straight.
Slides and taps.
One thing as a brakeman, I can give perspective. You can feel that when you're coming off a corner wrong. Definitely, it doesn't feel right when you're in the sled. And if you know that you're like, oh, this isn't right.
Kathleen Martini of Germany with Kristen Zenkel behind her, former European champion and multiple World Cup winner and medalist. Martini, again like Kyriasis, don't think we're going to see her compete again after this season.
No, so she's another one. Her start might not be as competitive with Alana or Kaylee, but she is one of the most consistent drivers in the field.
She's actually the youngest of the 3 Germans, just 31 still, so she could go on until Pyeongchang in Korea.
She could if she continues like Kyriasis.
The problem is there's all these young whippersnappers who are faster out of the blocks and just as eager to go and race.
Well, let's see if she's perfect to horseshoe. So far, so good with these runners. Very parallel to the ice.
5:69. She was 900ths away from the leaders at the start.
1200s behind. That's still within the competitive.
Jamie Grubel of the USA is our race leader.
Let's see if she's got the speed coming out of horseshoe. Oh, that's a little high.
Nails the exit. Let's see if she can carry it. The gap's coming
105.4,
down.
that's good.
Second fastest sled to Alfie Willemsen. 700s, the gap is coming down.
Yeah, look, she's gaining speed.
She's closing on Jamie Grubel. This is her shot for the lead.
Oh, a tap, that might cost her. Let's see if she can, 137.3. Let's see how she finishes at the bottom.
She's not going to catch Grubel. Grubel was a fraction quicker, but it's close.
Okay,
800ths of a second. That's really good. She sneaks in front of Alfie Willemsen of Belgium.
So the track is speeding up, in my opinion, with the sun, and she definitely had a distinct advantage finishing or starting in her 10th place start.
Also not hitting things on the way down.
Yeah, just that slight tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, her runners are directly parallel. She had a slight tap coming out of Sachs.
Yeah. Named after Gunter Sachs, who built a lot of the start area here in the infamous Dracula Club.
Yes.
That is it. Jamie Grubel is our race leader. 10 of our 18 sleds down. Kathleen Martini a whisker behind in second place. We've got a real race on our hands. Well, Emily Badsvik, 1800ths of a second, covering the top 5 sleds. That's one error. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Mm-hmm. This is a track. It's ruthless. It's kind of like a relationship, you know. Sometimes things are awesome. Sometimes things are terrible. But in the end, you just gotta ride it out.
There you go. Spoken by a woman who spends a lot of her life in hotel rooms on tour.
Hey now.
No, but you're absolutely right. I mean, it is going to be very, very close. We've got. And I just said a sentence that you don't often get to say. There's Kathleen Martini sneaking in front of the Belgian girls for second.
No, I never thought I'd be saying Belgium in the top 3.
That's fantastic.
It's great for their program, and it's nice to see that everyone is being so competitive. It's great for the sport.
So many Belgians in Winterberg. Normally we get lots of Dutch. It's only 2 or 3 hours by car from Belgium to Winterberg, and there were so many Belgians, and they were just going mental.
They were.
Think what they're doing watching the TV now.
Maybe it's the chocolate.
No, it's the success. That's what it is.
We should compare Belgian chocolate versus Swiss.
Yeah, well, I think the Belgian chocolates are winning at the moment. 8 more sleds to go, and then we have a long layoff because we've got the women's skeleton run, their second and deciding heat before we come back to the women's bobsled. So that's an unusual dynamic. How's everybody getting their heads around that?
Well, I think that the skeleton athletes, the one track that you might be able to do this and get away with it is going to be St. Moritz, because the track doesn't deteriorate as much as it would in other places like Winterberg. But I definitely feel like the amount of runners going down the track is going to affect the skeleton athletes. It'll make it a little bit rougher. It'll chip the ice up.
Well, for the bobsleigh break women, especially those going sort of later in the field, you get a full hour to recover, so that is going to help them, I'm sure.
We might take a little bit of time, go do some shopping in between. So here we have Esme.
Top of the track here in St. Moritz. We are ready for the remaining athletes in our first heat of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. And after a sensational run from the Belgians to go third at the moment, let's see what fellow low country team the Netherlands can do. Esme Campus had a big crowd on hand as well in Winterberg last week. Let's see if she can produce a big result. Melissa Bokeman behind her. I think this is the first time I've seen Melissa breaking the sled.
It is. This is her first World Cup race. She's a heptathlete that they've brought to the program.
It's interesting, isn't it? Even 3 races out from the Olympic Games, new brakemen coming in.
So let's see how Esme can carry her speeds down throughout the track.
5:63 gives her just 0.03 of a second off the race leader at the start. Tap into Snake. 700's back. This is very competitive at the moment.
This is.
Jamie Grubel of the USA is our race leader. She was 5th sled off the hill.
Okay, let's see how her speed's at a horseshoe.
Great exit.
104.6, it's not bad.
Not bad, that's within the top 3 or 4. This could be a top half dozen run, and she needs another one, I think.
And Esme is one of the most consistent drivers as well.
Slipping away a little, this could be down at the bottom of the top 10. Good speed, but not the best.
Same speeds as Anya.
Will she be in front of Alana Myers and Jasmine Fenlater?
8th place.
8th place, she is in front of Alana Myers and Jasmine Fenlater. Well, timing screen taking a while to catch up. Hasn't ranked her at all yet, but she's in 8th place.
New brakeman learning where to stop the sled.
It's all different skills coming into play.
So let's talk about her run here. She's got so much power going into the ice. You can definitely see. Yeah, she's very docile as she jumps in the sled.
It's so...
That's a good load for her brakeman for her first World Cup race. It's nice to know that she can get in. Yeah.
So difficult a technique to produce, to get in without rocking the sled, and that's so vital. Next up, Paula Walker and Rebecca Wilson. Often you see a slighter driver with a taller brakewoman. Here it's the opposite. Paula, ex-world champion brakewoman, and she's got Bex behind her.
Big Bex.
Yeah.
Team Pink.
Wolfgang Stanford, the Austrian, built the sled. And they should be good for very good top speeds down here.
Same start as Jasmine Fenlater.
Same as Esme Campus. Fenlater just 300s behind leader Jamie Grubel, and Paula needs a real confidence-inspiring run here.
Yes, she does. Paula's had a rough go for the first bit.
St. Moritz is the home of British bobsledding spiritually. This is looking good so far. She's neat through Snake, no skids.
Let's see how she comes to get through Horseshoe and then exits with her speeds.
Nash, little tap, exits cleanly out of Dixon. Union flags waving down by Horseshoe, gets good height, good elevation, and a good exit. Still in touch.
104.9, that's definitely a good speed so far.
Wolfgang Stanford's sleds were always among the very fastest in the speed traps at the bottom. Needs to keep it just a fraction more under control. Good exit from Sachs, the last of the fast 4 right-handers is vital. She's straight.
She's definitely taking advantage of this late start. 137.1.
5th place all the way down. Is she going to crack the top 3? It is 6th position.
That's better than Paula's finished for the majority of the races this year, so that's a good, consistent finish for her. Coach
Pete Gunn looks pretty happy with that. 6th place is ahead of Anja Schneider-Heinz, ahead of Kaylee Humphreys, and behind the tie for 4th, Kyriasis and Stulneva.
Oh, well, they're going to be happy with that. They've had a lot of pressure to perform.
Top 6 finish is really what she needs here. Good height.
Good height, yes. Oh, and someone waving. Hello.
Bit of a slow-mo selfie. And she got a great exit as well. Nice and smooth.
Yeah, look at those runners. Directly parallel, she comes onto the ice.
And on the ice all the way through.
Yeah,
and that's
she was very smooth throughout that run. Hi, Paula.
And look at the face. You can tell she liked that.
She's happy. Okay, here we go, Fabienne Meyer.
Swiss champion. And set the track record in the Swiss Championships.
She's with a new brakeman as well. She's a heptathlete.
Fabienne Meyer, Tanya Meyer, Alana Myers. Too much Meyering going on already by a factor of 2 there.
Oscar Meyer, let's have a hot dog. Okay, let's check out these runners.
Another 5:63 start, same as the Brits.
She's lucky she's got the expertise of being on this track for a couple extra training runs in the other nations. So let's see if her experience can carry her throughout.
Straight as an arrow, right down the middle.
I know that Fabian and Caroline Spani have been battling back and forth, so it's good that they push each other.
Not sure how many sleds the Swiss are likely to get in the allocation. It might be that maybe only one women's sled will go to the games.
Let's see about this speed. Oh, it doesn't quite have the height.
Caroline Spani only 10th fastest.
104.9.
Maya is in the lead. She's gone green still.
Well, she's had the same speed as Paula Walker and through Horseshoe. See if she can get a top 5 finish here.
The track announcer is going mental. Fabienne Maya is leading for Switzerland.
Exit.
138 kilometers an hour. She's the fastest. She's in ahead. She is going to lead for Switzerland.
Oh, Tomer 1. Go, Fabienne. Yeah! Oh, and her
Swiss coach is totally underwhelmed by that, obviously.
Well, it's much deserved for Fabienne. She's had a difficult run as well, trying to crack top 10.
Well, that is listen to the girls as well.
She's happy. I swear they do something to the ice that makes the Swiss sleds go faster.
I don't think they do anything.
They bless it or something.
Former junior world champion, and that, we've already said that twice in this run, that is the run of her career so far.
Then they look at the power just pushing into the ice here.
Track record 108.41. They didn't get close to the start record, but when you can drive up a storm.
Well, and her brakeman loads so aggressively, she definitely gives the sled that extra zip it needs to go through the first top corners.
So, Fabienne Maya leads from Jamie Grubel, the new generation.
Here we go, fellow countryman, Jenny Cicchetti with Chelsea Valois.
Jenny, another brake woman like Kaylee, converted to driving, and that's definitely the way the sport is going. Little kick sideways, but they get it straight out of a kink.
5:59, what an excellent start.
Big getaway.
Let's see if she can keep it straight.
As an arrow, look at that, tracking straight.
Jenny, one of the creations of Pierre Lueders when he was coaching with Canada.
And she gave up driving, came back to the World Championships to win gold again with Kaylee Humphries in Lake Placid 2011, and then returned to the front seat for the following season.
Once she's still learning the little technicalities about driving, but once she masters it, she doesn't forget. Okay, good height is Horseshoe.
Little bump off Nash, little bump out of Horseshoe into Telephone.
104.8, that's a good speed. She's been very competitive all week in training.
This could end up in the top 3 or 4 as well. Don't forget, we've got a tie for 4th place.
She's definitely taking advantage of this late start, and the track is speeding up for her.
Tie for 5th
Let's see if she taps. Oh, just a little slight ding.
She's still in the hunt. 137 kilometers now. She could be in 4th or 5th spot by the line. Great run from Jennifer Cicchetti.
8th place. Well, that is a good finish for Jenny.
Yes, it is. So she is the top Canadian sled in 8th spot. Kaylee Humphries in 10th.
I never thought I'd say that.
Alana Myers and Jasmine Fenlater, 13th and 14th, our last 2 sleds in the field at the moment. Great run from Cicchetti.
Yeah, let's look at her face and see if she looks happy. Oh, we're not sure.
Chelsea Valois, of course, world champion last year with Kaylee Humphries on this track.
Yes, they had a great 4 runs last year. Let's talk about this. Look at her going through the corner. Her runners are parallel as she climbs on, letting the sled get a little bit of height.
Nice run from Jen Cicchetti and Chelsea Valois. Fabienne Maya of Switzerland is our race leader. And the Russians with a good run from Olga Stulneva, tying for 5th. What about Anastasia Tambov-Seva?
She was an Olympic brakeman.
Yevgenia Solovyeva, a new name as well. I think this is another rookie brakewoman.
Yes, the Russians are definitely going. They've got much talent coming out this year with it being the Olympics in Sochi.
And they're trying a different team in every sled almost every single week.
So let's see how she can make it down through the top on her way to Horseshoe and see if she can get that speed.
Only a 5:81 start. That's a long way from where they would like to be. But Alpha Willemsen of Belgium started 5:80, and she is in 4th spot. So
well, this late start might play to her advantage. So let's see how if she can stay relatively clean up top.
Nice smooth run, but she's nearly half a second away at Sunny. She's got 3/4 of a mile of track still.
Let's see the speed.
Sled's controlled,
104.8.
but it's not fast, and the speed is not good. It's drifting away. I wonder if she's got too much bite in the runners.
I don't know. So far, she's been relatively clean on this track.
It's hard to tell. All the runners are steel and shiny. It's like tires.
We
they
have
all
a
look
tap
round
that might
and black.
affect her at the bottom. 136.9.
She's not going to be a factor with speed
it's not a competitive
either.
Speed.
She may end up at the tail of the field, 13th place ahead of the two American sleds.
Yeah, it's interesting how the track is playing well to some people and not to others.
She didn't look like she had as much of a nightmare as Alana Myers and Jasmine Fenlater skidding and hitting. But
no, I only noticed the tab coming out of sock.
Yeah.
Sacks.
Excuse
me. Socks. Pants.
Ooh, again, watch the runner tip. The back of the sled is drifting around behind her.
Yeah, and this is where she needs to have the most speed, and she just doesn't have it here.
Skidding away. It's Fabienne Meyer of Switzerland who leads from Jamie Grubel of the USA and Kathleen Martini of Germany in third place. We've got 3 more sleds to go in the first of 2 heats here in St. Moritz in the women's bobsled. Next up is Austria's Christina Hengster. Viola Kleiser, a World Cup rookie last weekend. This is her 2nd start in the season.
Yeah, Christina Hengster. She does sit very low, similar to Kaylee Humphries.
Yeah.
It helps you when if you are coming off a corner wrong, you don't look too far ahead and panic. You just see straight ahead. Oh, there we have a tap. So she's going to have to be clean up here in order to get the speed coming out of Horseshoe.
1100s behind at the start, quarter of a second out of Sunny and into Nash and Dixon. Just a little bumpy, it's not smooth looking.
No. Well, with her start time and a little bit bumpy, it's not might have the speed. We'll see.
Clean out of Horseshoe.
104.8.
That's not bad.
No,
Telephone.
it's same as Jenny and Anastasia.
Yeah. Telephone, Shamrock, Devil's Dyke, all looking clean. These fast 4 right-handers, so crucial. 3/10 away. How close can she get? No, that's not good.
Let's see if she has the speed. Oh, 137.2.
It's okay. It's so-so. It's not going to put her in the top 10, though.
You think? Yeah. No, 11th finish. Well, that's unfortunate. She just didn't have the speed to carry her through to make a top 10 finish.
Yeah. 14th at the start, 13th at the bottom.
Yeah, and those slight little taps definitely affected her on the way down.
Well, she is 100th behind Kaylee Humphries, 400s in front of Esme Campos, 900s ahead of Caroline Spani, 200s behind Schneider Heinze. That's a very tough bunch of sleds. 5 sleds in a 1/10 of a second.
Yes, no, I mean, it shows that the pilots... So here she is, she's coming onto the corner. She looks parallel, but as she comes off, it's a little bit whippy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Rolled a little late off, and that puts her late on again.
Yeah, and again, as a brakeman, I might not have the technical terminology, but I definitely know what it feels like.
Yeah.
She's the only female for their program.
Astrid Radjanovic, she's announced that she won't slide after this season. So Jana Pittman looking either to convert to the front seat or become a new driver or find a third sport.
Push bar.
5:67 getaway. Their starts are getting quicker and quicker.
Let's see if she can keep this straight and give her a chance.
Jana's another summer to winter athlete, isn't she?
She is. She was in the 400-meter hurdles. She also has a beautiful little boy.
Yeah. 400s away at the start. They are within a 1/10 of a second of the leaders. Now, if the Aussies can crack a top 10 finish here, Astrid's smile will be worth seeing. Great exit, so smooth.
Yeah, she definitely got the slingshot effect. 104.1, though, not very much speed.
Well, that's in the ballpark. Can she get into the top 10 from here? 12th position after Horseshoe.
That would be good for her confidence, making a top 10 finish. Oh, a slight tab. 136.4. It's not really the speed that the others have been having.
Running on a real shoestring.
Oh,
14th place. Okay, again, that's a tough group of sleds. She's right with Caroline Spani, Esme Campos.
She's definitely getting a second run, though.
Yeah, absolutely, no question about that. That is guaranteed. And there's a couple of things that she'll think about, talk with the German coaches who are helping out with the Aussies.
Well, she's had much more of a competitive edge this season, having Jana Pittman in her sled. Let's look at her height here.
Late height, though.
Yeah, late. Yeah, she kind of swan dives out.
See the runner tips? It's kind of hanging there. Centrifugal force keeps it on the corner. She gets a smooth exit, but she had to really drive it down.
Yeah, instead of using the sled and letting it flow, she really, you know, put too much effort into the steer.
And our final sled in the first heat is Maria Constantin and Anja Grecu of Romania. Again, with tiny budget, the Romanians. Theirs and the Aussies probably...
One of the toughest pilots I know.
Yeah. And they turn up every season.
They do, and they work hard.
And they are racing at World Cup level rather than going chasing points at the second tier in Europa Cup.
Oh, definitely respectful for that.
Yeah.
She could... She might be driving the oldest sled in the field, but...
Yeah, and it's from Paul Niago, Romanian driver who now lives at Winterberg.
Slight skid. Oh, another one.
Little taps. And we talked about this earlier, didn't we? The sled seems to have a magnet that draws it to the wall. Once you get that yo-yoing thing, it just keeps going back.
It does. That's the one thing about this track. The ice is so, like, smooth, and if you slide, you just continue to slide because there's no friction.
Really ping-pong down that straight to horseshoe.
Okay.
Nice smooth line.
103.9.
Well, that's one of the lowest speeds we've seen coming through Devil's Dyke. At the moment, she's having a smooth run, but those early hits at low speed cost you so much.
Yeah, those definitely are going to affect her. But yeah, she's not having a terrible run here. She has a slight tap, but her lines have been fairly smooth.
135 kilometers an hour, fastest speed there was 138.
She definitely has potential for the program. She's a young pilot. Once she gets some more experience under her belt, she'll be good.
Yeah, they had 2 sleds running in World Cup last year. She is their representative this season.
Oh, another early braking.
Yeah, and also didn't quite have the speed that they might have expected down at the bottom. But she's avoiding
she sits
steering.
very upright.
Yep, again, I think that's lack of familiarity with the track.
Yeah, it's the panic, oh my God feeling.
Well, she's not panicking and steering. She's just taking the taps because she knows that's the least worst option. Maria Constantin of Romania makes it down happily. She's in 18th place. And the fastest sled down this ice sheet here in St. Moritz, fittingly perhaps, was the Swiss pair, Fabienne Meyer, getting the lead after the first heat. Just 0.05 of a second in front. But in front is always the best place to start the second heat. And she ducks her head under the cowl at the line as ever, getting another 100th to that lead.
Nice confidence for Switzerland. Home track, home sled.
What a result for Fabienne Meyer. If she can hold on to that and win for Switzerland, she'll be all over the Sunday sports pages. But look at the gaps. 1300ths covers the medal. 1/4 of a second, we're down to 7th and 8th place. It's winnable from there, even.
Yeah, 4th to 8th is literally within 400ths.
Yeah, that's brutal. And some really close groupings here as well, further down the field.
Yes.
Alana Myers and Jasmine Fenlater will go an hour from now into Heat 2, looking for redemption. That's going to be a big word here, the R word. Let's see what they can produce. Well, my thanks to Emily Badsvik for joining us in the first heat. And we will look forward to seeing who's going to come out on top in the second and deciding heat as they go in reverse order. Our race leader, Fabienne Meyer, will be defending the lead and looking for her first ever World Cup win.